you might want to apply to. Chegg.com is a cool website because in addition to scholarships, they also connect you with used textbooks. Okay, and then sacregcf.org is a cool website because it connects you with local scholarships. The nice thing about local scholarships is there's not quite as much competition, right? Because there's people just locally that are applying for these scholarships. So it's a pretty cool website to kind of check out your different scholarship options. Okay, and as we get here to near the end of this presentation, a few more tips. Once you've submitted this application, there are a couple more things that you want to keep in mind. You're going to receive a student aid report, and that's going to be essentially a summary of the information you put on your FAFSA. So you want to review that to make sure all your information was plugged in accurately. And then another thing that you're going to get is your California aid report, your CAR. And you get that through this account, this Cal Grant account. So after you submit your FAFSA, within the next couple of days, you'll want to create this Cal Grant account. And that Cal Grant account is going to give you access to your Cal Grants that you're eligible for. So this is what we'll pull up, and we'll be able to see if you got Cal Grant 2 or if you got Cal Grant 4. Okay, every college you are admitted to will provide an award notice. So in terms of your award notice, you're going to, like you said, you create a Cal Grant account. You also are going to create a portal, okay, for the four-year college, or an e-service account if you're going to a local community college. And through those accounts is how you're going to find out if it's a 4-year, if you got accepted into the school. And if you got accepted, it's going to let you know about how much money you're eligible for in terms of your financial aid awards. So those are some things to look out for in the spring. Now, in terms of that award, the earlier that you're able to submit your application, the sooner you'll get access to that award notification. Okay, apply in December and get Cal Grant eligibility notice, typically in March, February, March, or April, around those times. Award notices will be posted in your student college portals. Students should use award information to make college attendance decisions. So one thing you'll find when you're going through those award notifications is some colleges might offer you more money than others. So maybe Sac State's offering you a larger state grant. They call it a SUG, a state university grant, than maybe San Jose State, right, to provide you with more incentive to go to Sac State. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And in terms of what these award notifications look like, this is an example. So if you guys remember early on in the presentation, I mentioned the way to understand that financial need is to determine how much of it is coming from grants and how much of it is coming from loans. So this is what the breakdown looks like. So this student is, this is a CSU example, right? $28,000 here with an SAI of $3,000. So this is how it breaks down. So if I'm getting Cal Grant 4, $5,472, and again, that's what's going to be helping cover my tuition. And then federal Pell Grant, $5,500, and then work study, $3,000. If I add these up, we're looking at $11,000, $14,000 just in grants, right? So now if I can keep my expenses to $14,000, including tuition, which is going to be around $8,000, that means I've got $6,000 left over for the year. So if I know, okay, I can live off $6,000 for the year or $3,000 for the semester, then I don't have to take out any loans because I know I'm taken care of. Now, if these numbers are a little bit lower and you're thinking, okay, I probably can't live off that. This is going to help a lot, but I can't live completely off that. That's when you say, okay, let me check out my subsidized loan here and maybe access a little bit of that. Okay, and a nice thing about these loans, you can determine how much money you want to use from that loan. So just because they're offering you $3,500 doesn't mean you have to take the whole amount. You can reduce that to $1,000 or $2,000 depending on what you need. But this is how you can kind of break down your what they're giving you in terms of that financial need. So the need was about $26,000. So this is that $26,000 number. Now, just because they say this is the need doesn't mean that's going to be your actual need. That's again based on this cost of attendance. And we talked about how to bring down that cost of attendance, right, to maybe $14,000, $15,000. So if we are able to do that by saving money in different aspects of this cost of attendance, then we can be okay with this amount here and not have to deal with any type of loans. Okay, so that's what that looks like. And then getting into some of those special programs. So the main one that we want to look at is going to be that California Promise Grant. I mentioned by going to the community college, regardless of your family income, If you're a first-time college student and you're enrolled in a full-time load, full-time in college is going to be 12 units. And one of the nice things about college, a full-time student, what 12 units means is that you're in class 12 hours per week. So I remember like my freshman year, we had meeting and practice in the afternoon. So we had to take all of our classes in the morning. So my Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule was like 8 to 11, right? And my Tuesday, Thursday schedule was like 9 to 11:15. And that's the total amount of hours I spent in class. So you have a lot less class time, but usually there's more work that you want to be able to do outside of class. And so you have a little more freedom there. But again, this California College Promise Grant will allow your income to be paid for. California Promise Grant. This is not based on income, pays for tuition. So this is where these stipulations fall. The California College Promise Grant is based on income, but doesn't have these stipulations. So even if you're not a first-time college student, you can still have access to this grant. But this one that's not income-based, this is the criteria for it. And then EOP&S at the community college is another program that can provide you with some financial support and academic support. And then it's going to be EOP at the CSU. Right, so EOP, when you're filling out your CSU application, you'll have a question asking if you want to be eligible or if you're interested in applying for the EOP program. I always recommend selecting yes for that as well. Now that's going to be based on different situations. They're typically looking for first generation students and low income students for the EOP program. And then there's the state university grant. So the state university grant comes directly from the CSU that you're planning on attending. And this is where you might notice that some universities are offering you more than others. So that's something to take a look at. Maybe Sac State's offering you this full amount, but maybe San Jose State's offering you $3,000 instead of $5,400. So that's something to keep in mind there. Then the UCs have a similar situation with UC Blue and Gold Opportunity Grant. Family income should be $80,000 or less for that grant. Most California residents will qualify for Cal Grant first. So if you happen to fall into a category where you just barely missed out being eligible for Cal Grant 4, it is possible that you can receive your UC Blue and Gold Opportunity Grant. Okay, a couple of tricks and tips. The main one, this number, report up to 10 schools, they actually are increasing that to 20. So you can list up to 20 schools now on your application. But hopefully by the time you guys are applying for this application, you've narrowed your list down to, maybe your top 5 schools or your top 10 schools. So you don't need to access all 20, but you do have up to 20 schools that you can put on that application now. You want to make sure to at least report one California school on there, even if you're thinking you're going to leave. That way, your Cal Grant account will get triggered. So in case you end up staying in California, you'll be able to have access to your Cal Grant account. And then IRS Data Retrieval Toolkit. This is something that's going to be automatic in the new application and what you will have to provide consent for. And you have to provide consent in order to move forward with the application. So that's kind of an automatic situation now. So those are a couple tips. Students and parents will be using what they call prior year taxes. So when you guys are applying in 2023, you don't have to use the taxes from 2023. You want to use the taxes that your parents filed for in 2022. So that's kind of how they do that. Something to keep in mind there. And then another thing to look out for are going to be your Cash for College workshops. So in the spring, there's going to be Cash for College workshops, and your school will probably host one. So you want to keep the date in mind for that. And essentially, it's usually an evening workshop, and there's going to be experts, financial aid experts that attend these workshops that are there to help support you with filling out that application. So you want to bring a parent and then some financial information to submit the application all in one workshop and have all your questions answered there. So something to keep in mind. Okay, and here are a couple of checklists. So if you guys want to hover your camera phones over this QR code, you can pull up and save a checklist, FAFSA checklist that you can kind of keep handy to make sure you're keeping track with everything you need to do. So I think there's maybe like 10 items on the checklist that you can make sure you're checking off as you go through this process. So that's for the FAFSA. And this is going to be for the CADA. Okay, so depending on if you're in a situation where you got to complete the CADA, then you might want to have access to this checklist. And then we have this flyer here. Let me check the dates. This actually might be, I think they just had this event. Oh yeah. Yeah, okay. No, this is so we don't have to pay attention to this one. I know they just had a college night at Sac State um, at the end of September. So yeah, this one would be outdated. But finally, this is our contact information. So again, my name was AJ Ellis with Cal Soap. And so our purpose is to provide information to students to help them apply for college and help them pay for college. So if you feel like you might have some questions moving forward, feel free to take down my email here, aellis@scoe.net. This is the rest of our team of advisors here. We're also on Instagram. So if you want to follow us on Instagram, we usually post different information about scholarships and deadlines. So some good college related information there. But that